this demonstration, we're going to look at configuring the client settings for hardware inventory. We use System Center Configuration Manager to manage our devices and our users. One of the things that our devices will have on them, if they're Windows based, they will have a WMI database, and that WMI database stores information relating to hardware and software utilized by that device. We can take that information, we can read that information, and we can then store that information in our Configuration Manager database. We can then use that information, for example, for doing things like queries against the device and then creating collections potentially. We do have to configure it though, and to configure it, what I've done is I've come to my System Center Configuration Manager console, come to the administration workspace, come to client settings, node, and now what I'm going to do is just edit my default client settings. But at this point here, I could create a new custom set of settings and then push those out against my devices. So what we're going to do is come down to hardware inventory. On hardware inventory, we have enabled hardware inventory on our client devices. It's going to occur every 7 days. So we're going to update that database every 7 days. Maximum random delay in minutes. All this specifies at this point here is, let's say I've got 175,000 devices, which primary site will support. I don't really want to collect that data all in one go. So what we'll do is we'll offset it and we'll collect it over this 240-minute offset. We then got our MIF files, which are managed information files. So what we do is we take this information in a MIF file, we then commit it to the config manager database. We have our hardware inventory classes, and just down at the bottom here I can collect the MIF files and store the MIF files as files on my system. So at this point here we're going to take these files and commit them straight to the database. We're not going to store them anywhere. So set classes just allows me to say exactly what it is that I want to collect into the database. So what I'm going to do at this point here, I'm just going to extend this. I'm going to go for BitLocker. I'm going to go for boot configuration. So I also want these 2 bits of information. I've also got the ability to import information from a MOF file, export this information out to a MOF file, so I could then import that into another site. I can add hardware from different devices, so let's just connect through to one of the other devices we have in our system. And we'll just connect through to LON-DC1. So at that point there, you can see it's pulled in all of the hardware classes from that device. I'm not going to add any from that device, so we'll just select cancel. Not going to delete anything, haven't added anything. Up at the top here we do have the ability to search for classes, because we have got quite a few. So we can do a search through there, we can filter by category, or we can filter by type. Now we've done that, we'll select OK. Now we'll select OK again. And at that point there, what we've done is we have now come in and configured our client settings for hardware inventory. What we'll do in the next demo is we'll actually run a scan against the device and see how we can read that information. Thank you.